So, time to get to and exploit Clearing of the Lakes. So, from the Storm Hill Shack side of Grace, where I left off before, we're just going to start heading north. Way up there is the path to Margate and to Stormvale, and we're going right past it. Should have grabbed that mushroom. Although I guess I got the 10 from Bach. Just another reason to help him. Gotta remember to take those kukri out at some point. I don't know if that's an important cookbook. I just always pick it up because it's right there. So now, we're just going to keep following this path. Gotta look out for the indigenous creatures, because they have a tendency to stand in the middle of the path and block torrent. Bypass the doggos. Bypass the white doggos. We're just skirting all the way around Stormvale here. Until we reach this side of Grace, which is just outside of where you leave Stormvale Castle after defeating Godric. Swing in here, Sacred Tear, and real quick, we're going to detour into this cemetery. This is between the side of Grace that we were just at and the Church of Erith, and we'll get the Academy Scroll for an Intelligence Caster. That'll have some of your good basic spells. Give that to Sal, give that to Turtle Pope. Learn to use some magic. Alright, so if you didn't buy one down in the Weaving Peninsula, this merchant will also sell you a lantern, also the Estoc if you want a good thrusting sword, and the Astrologer's outfit if that's your swag. So from here, head back along the cliffs towards the east. Looking for the jellyfish. Proceeding past the jellyfish and into the cave. This is still water. If you clear this dungeon, including defeating the boss at the end, you will be rewarded with the Winged Sword Insignia, a talisman that will give you attack bonus by landing sequential hits. In other words, if you're using the Twin Blade or daggers, or if you're using relatively quick full charged attacks, and by relatively quick I just mean you're landing them fairly successfully one after another. I do not mean that it has to be a fast acting R2 attack. You can fill up its gauge and get some pretty good additional damage pretty quick. That's going to be of no use to me in this build, so I'm not going there, but I'm letting you know where it is. Continue to the north, still hugging the cliff. cliffside. This is the Purified Ruins, and we're going to be back there in just a bit, but we're going to head more due east. And we're on a path now. You got to look out for the archer marionettes. As we continue now south along the road. We're going to be heading for a spot just beyond that troll. We want to try not to draw his aggro because he can mess up our day while we're opening a treasure chest on the back of a crashed carriage. At this point, I've got enough vigor. I'm not too worried about dying. I'm worried about the inconvenience. The tree spear. A good dex faith weapon, and one that I may very well start using, though I was focused a little bit more on strength and dex when I was making my spend because it wasn't really what I was planning on using. It's Ash of War, even if it's in your offhand when you use it, as long as you keep it equipped, I believe, and this is probably a bug, will also give a bonus to your main hand weapon. Frankly, I intend to kind of test it out with this character and see if that is still working or not. So now we're heading back up the path, avoiding the marionettes, heading back into the Purified Ruins. Right, in the Purified Ruins, we need to drop down here. That big building, hidden staircase underneath some barrels and wooden planks will get us the Two Fingers Heirloom. If you don't want to use the Faith Knot Crystal Tier, the Two Fingers Heirloom might be your best option for getting yourself to the sufficient faith to cast Flame Grant Me Strength, if that is even going to benefit your build. Exiting, and I'm just looping around to avoid some aggro, keep from getting mobbed. We're staying in the Purified Ruins. We're going generally northwest. We're going to take this teleport. And this will deposit us at the gates to Liurnia Academy. I'm sorry, Raya Lucaria Academy. Here comes Grace. Back around on our horse, and what you're looking for is this kind of yellowish bush. You want to be running towards the left side of the bush, and we're going to jump over the banister. Double jump and land on this rock and give it just a second, because if you start sliding, you can easily be considered to have fallen to the ground and take fatal fall damage. Just runes in this graveyard, you can certainly collect them if you want. At this point, I'm not worth it, but track along south and east, following the wall of the academy. This is actually the academy gate found. We can swing here real quick. Grab a couple of smithing stones, twos. Heading north now, seed. We're going to turn towards the east. probably a better route than I took. But this will get us the Academy Gate Town, Site of Grace, and the map for Leonia North. Go ahead and fast travel back to the South Raya Lucaria Gate. Mount up. Once again, at our yellow bush. Jump down. Now we're going to head due east. And once we're past the gate, we start to wend our way north. So generally, northeast of the Site of Grace, you will see this shrine. With a portal inside. Which puts us right in front of the map for Leonia of the Lakes west. And we'll continue north from the map into the King's Realm ruins. Looking out for invisible sorcerers. And when we get to this wall, just we'll hop. And we'll rest to the aggro. Here is Iji the blacksmith.
Well,
Iji
I
real
presume.
quick.
Oh, I am an old soul here, perhaps.
And he will sell you an unlimited amount of somber stones, 1, 2, and then 3 each of 3 and 4. They're pricey, but for your unique weapons, convenient, fast way to upgrade them. Now we're going to ride back south through the King's Realm, sticking towards the east side, and seeking a point where it's safe to go down. There we go. Now we're going to turn right back north along this lower cliff face. Keep following the kind of footpath in the middle until you see this outcropping on our left. Move around. And grab the intelligence knot crystal tier. We now have 3 of the 4 main stat tiers that we could mix into our physic if we wanted to. Proceeding south. Well, I guess there's a good reason for me to still have the Kukri in my inventory. Any ranged attack will work for what we're about to do, but since I don't currently have any offensive incantations, and because Ghost Flame Ignition doesn't do much vertically, Kukri will serve just fine. Some of these balloons that are carrying the mannequins, if you pop them by hitting them with a ranged attack, a kukri, a throwing knife, a spell, whatever, when they pop, first off, sometimes the mannequins will, or the marionettes will die when they fall down, free runes. But also some of those balloons have rune 6s inside that then you can loot. Alright, so now we're at the Sorcerer's Isle. Seek 3 wise beasts. 1. Whoops. That was sloppy. 2. 3. Seals opened, and all those ghostly skeletons that you saw appearing have now despawned. And another memory stone. From here, I'm going to go ahead and just warp back to the Raya Lucaria gate. And once again, bush jumping. Okay, we're going to exit west this time like we did the first time, but now we're going to be heading fairly due west, edging on north. I keep looking to my right because somewhere along this side of the Raya Lucaria cliff is the crystal cave that houses the next best sorcerer staff, as well as the spell Terra Magica. It's not what we're here for right now. What we're here for is the key to the academy. Right up that incline, grab the key, and beat. You'll be gone before Smaragd knew you were there. There it is. That cave directly in front of us. Very small cave. If you complete it, you can ascend a elevator up into Raya Lucaria that will give you the Terra Magica spell, which while you're standing in its radius boosts all magic damage, regardless of whether it's from a spell or from a Ash of War. Okay, I'm going to throw a marker here. Alright, so basically due west from the Academy town, Grace. Going to ascend to these ruins. Grab this Grace. And we're going to continue heading west, veering just ever so slightly north. This is the Church of the Rose. After you defeat Godric the Grafted, Vare will move here. Completing Vare's quest line from this point will allow you access to Mogwen, the Lake of Blood. But other thing we want to do while we're here is kill this scarab. For the Blood Flame Blade incantation. If you have a weapon that is not elementally aligned, that is going to be one of the best weapon buffs you can put on it. It'll add fire damage and it will add bleed damage. If you have a weapon that naturally causes bleed, like a katana or claws, and you put that on there, you will get a substantial boost to it. It has pretty modest casting requirements. Worth it if you're doing a bleed build with a natural bleed weapon. Headed south of the Oil Pawn Shack side of Grace for Ria's quest line, which you'll encounter later. Then I think this is where I'm going next. I always forget which island it is because it's so unremarkable, except it's one super redeemable. Yeah, this is the right one. So yeah, a little bit southwest. Trina's Lily and the Dexterity Knot Crystal Tier. And so now we've got Crystal Tiers for all of the main combat stats. Once we use aggro, we're now going to go back to the South Raya Lucaria Gate because we have obtained a key. And enter. Claim the Grace. Mount up. Seed. Back to the Grace. To the Bellum Highway. Grace. Mount up. There's a spirit spring. There it is. And proceed east, kind of hugging the cliff face. Past the mausoleum turtle. Crystals. Whee! And that's why you always claim a Grace. Let's try that again. I don't think we have to descend to that lower section of the cliff as long as we're lined up with the Grace. now that I've confirmed that parkouring our way down that elevator shaft only gives us cracked crystals, we'll just take the elevator this time. Okay, welcome to the Raya Lucaria Crystal Tunnel. This is different from the Crystal Cave I was discussing earlier. You do want to clear this tunnel. The boss at the end will give you the smithing stone bell bearing 1. Take that to the Twin Maiden Husks and Round Table Hold and buy unlimited smithing stones 1 and 2. Back up to, I guess, the East Raya Lucaria gate. Alright, this time we're going to head north. Church. Grace. Sacred Tear. Going to proceed east. Try to keep a little bit to the south, stay on this side of this pedestal, because there's trebuchet up there that'll start firing if you get too close. We're on the other side of the road. We're going to wend our way northward. You know what? Actually, I'm going to do this a little differently than I normally do, because I think the normal way I do this is not the best way. I'm going to go ahead and head down here. Check this camp out real quick. Yep, that's it. And we'll be back to that later. There's a weapon that I think I want in there. Yeah, the spacing all looks correct. So we have both halves of the Dectus Medallion, and we can ascend the elevator to the Altus Plateau if we so choose. I choose not to because it changes the world state, such as by starting the Radon Festival, and I'm concerned it might change Irina's quest line. So I want to hold off on entering Altus until after I clear Castle Morn. That's for this playthrough. You can choose differently. I'm going to run south a bit because I want what's in that chest. Hopefully it is what I'm looking for. Yep, nice. Oh. Alright. Healing. Okay. Let's see if this is the better way. So I'm heading east from where we were just at with the lift of the Dectus. Now, at the top of that tower, right there, is the Eye of Sauron. Gotta kind of dodge your way past it. The damage over time isn't bad, but that madness proc will knock you off your horse. Stand at this spirit spring. Then right about now I jump. That's just timing from having done this a million times. Jump around the side. Uh-oh, this is bad. Can I get around the rat? No. Come on. I can't even get myself to trigger on the I'll take the hit. Not even worried about the hit. Another good test of my potion. That gives you a good idea of how well it's doing now. And I've got tiers I haven't traded in yet. Howl of Shibiri. Takes very high faith stat, but it is the best damage buff in the game. The downside is that it also boosts the damage that you receive. So it's best if you've got a super aggressive build where you don't intend to have a chance to get hurt. Uh-oh, no one died. Oh, okay, some people died. Ah, I madnessed. Oh, I madnessed and I have fans. Okay. Anyone coming down? Alright, so the deal with the Eye of Sauron is that it only lasts so long as those cultists are alive. And it looks like I took them out. So now we no longer have an eye to deal with. That was not the best way to do it, but it worked. Ouch. My horse parkour is terrible today, and I'm out of healing flasks. Okay, so from the tower, we're proceeding south. We're looking at the Erd Tree, though that is not where we're going. Because if you really think about it, there's not been very much combat in here at all, and the combat we had was largely optional. Shibiri's Woe I always pick up, never use. That's the make the game harder for me, for those true Dark Souls fans, not us casual gamers like me. Next stop, this scarab. Got it. With a Frenzied Burst. That is a sniper spell. It has potentially the best range of any spell in the game. Now, we're going to go up to this church. Right about there, I hop off of Torrent because we are going to be invaded. Which means you're going to have to get off of Torrent anyway, but if you get taken off of Torrent by having been invaded, it's a much slower animation. I do not believe I can beat Vike, especially since I'm entirely out of healing potions right now. So I'm just going to get the Grace, turn around, put in the old college try. And accept defeat. Ah! We can always challenge him at a time if we so choose. But here we are. Here's our runes. Here is a maiden who, despite looking so clean, is actually quite bloody for Vare. And another tier. And that pretty much concludes basic setup in Liurnia. There's two more things I'm going to do in this video, and they're both actually going to be down here in Limgrave. There's two more exceptional early game weapons here in Limgrave. Let's go ahead and upgrade our flasks. think I'm going to allocate them to go 4 and 5. And I'm starting to think, based off the way things are going so far, that I really want to switch these. I want my health flax, not my quick bar. Okay, so we're at the Aguil Lake South side of Grace. And we're going to go ahead and head south. Riding up this hill to the upper jail. Here's going to be our next actual point of contact, or combat. We're going to go ahead and summon in Blide, because this is his fight. We're just here to help. I should have done something with my Flask of Wondrous Physique.
Darrowell, rotting in a cell is no true justice. No. This is where it ends for you.
Oh, I just drank my non-existent potion. My flask is on.
Right.
To Blide.
Work for it. Don't say I'm not.
And a Somber Stone too. So what we got from that is the Bloodhound's Fang, and this may be the best weapon that you can get in Limgrave. It's going to be a matter of opinion. Notice it's got natural blood loss. It has an unstated, maybe in the description. Oh yeah, fearsome blade capable of brutal airborne attacks. It has a natural damage boost to jumping attacks. It has a unique Ash of War that is just absolutely phenomenal. In fact, here, let me show it off real quick. It's a two-parter. Input 1, little slash with a fade jump. That fade jump can be great for positioning and getting out. But if you follow that up by pressing the Ash of War button again, oh no, I'm sorry, R2. So Ash of War, jump back, R2, teleport in for another hit. Great posture damage. This is just all around a phenomenal weapon. And on top of all of that, it also has the ability to have buffs put on it, like Blood Flame that we picked up in Liurnia. Truly just an absolutely exceptional weapon if you're looking for a melee build. Scales slightly better with dexterity than strength, but I think it scales pretty well with both. Alright, last thing for this video, another game that, or another weapon that can carry you all the way to the end game. So from Aguil Lake South, we're riding north. You see the big ruin. Going around it and under the bridge. And by the way, this bridge, this is the one where the Knights Cavalry got me, just to help root us here. Pick up fire grease, goes back not. have been invaded by bloody finger nerd juice. Nerd juice for you. Now, if you're having trouble with him, you can hear the voiceover. You actually get an assistant in this fight. If you can survive long enough, because he spawns in the cave and crawls his way over this fight. Let's take him as hits. And upon defeating him, regardless of who gets that final shot, Reduvia. This is the ultimate arcane blood dagger. You saw him hit me with little bleed bolts, cause blood loss, super fast. If you're a bandit, if you choose that as your starting class, you can wield the Reduvia as soon as you pick it up. No leveling required, no talismans required. You can just start wearing it. So the last thing we're going to do on this video, now that we've got that, is we're just going to go meet Patches.
To a man's personal belongings, huh? You scheming little thief! Demand repentance! Up you! All of it!
He is good with that kick. Nope. Okay. Now, you can kill Patches if you choose, but you should know that he is associated with a few benefits if you spare him at this point.
I knew you would. You're a lady of reason, through and through.
In particular, he will join the Volcano Manor. He'll give you an assassination quest there with a unique weapon that's affiliated with it. In addition, he, at this point right now, and if you kill him now and you get his bell bearing now, he will sell fan daggers, and in order to get at it, you gotta quit out and come back in.
Well, nice it all a bit and welcome.
But at this point, he only has, I believe, 5. Oh, he's got 20. If you let him live long enough that he moves to the Volcano Manor, you can buy an unlimited number of these. So there are reasons to spare him. I want to sell 2,000, 3,000. I've got 3,300. I'll sell the 2,000. because I want Margit's Shackle.
Cheers for
That
that.
will be helpful when we finally face Margit. But that's all for this stream. I'm going to do some stuff that's specific to this build, and we'll pick up when I'm ready to head into Altus Plateau.